الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على إمام الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. Brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to this another of our sittings. Today we shall be taking a look at a new topic. We haven't covered this topic before. Today we'll be covering the topic, the Tafseer of Surah Al-Ankabut, Surah 29. In this surah, Allah Ta'ala said, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألف لام ميم حسب الناس أن يتركوا أن يقولوا آمنا وهم لا يفتنون. The very first ayah of Surah Al-Ankabut is Alif Lam Mim. Now, what is the tafsir of Alif Lam Mim? We hear the brothers in the background. They are not brothers, they are my neighbors. Alif Lam Mim. The tafsir of Alif Lam Mim, these letters are one of the miracles of the Holy Quran, and none but Allah alone knows their meanings. So, some verses of the Quran are clear, muhkam, and some verses of the Quran are mutashabih, allegorical. And as for the verses that are allegorical, only Allah Ta'ala knows the meaning of the allegorical verses. So in Surah 3, verse 7, Allah Ta'ala said, هو الذي أنزل عليك الكتاب. Surah 3, verse 7. هو الذي أنزل عليك الكتاب منه آيات محكمات هن الكتاب. He it is that has revealed to you the kitab. In this book, there are verses that are muhkamat, they are clear. They have no ambiguities. وَأُخَرُ مُتَشَابِهَات, and some verses are allegorical, unclear. فَأَمَّا الَّذِينَ فِي قُلُوبِهِمْ زَيْغٌ, and as for those in whose heart is zayg, deviancy, فَيَتَّبِعُونَ مَا تَشَابَهَ مِنْهُ, they go after the allegorical verses, the unclear verses. ابتغاء الفتنة, seeking to cause fitna. وابتغاء تأويله, and seeking to give it his own ta'wil, to put a spin on the ayah. Ta'wil means to put a spin on the ayah. وما يعلم تأويله إلا الله, but no one knows the meaning of these verses except Allah. So there is a full stop at Allah. At Allah there is a full stop. No one knows the meaning except Allah. وَالرَّاسِخُونَ فِي الْعِلْمِ يَقُولُونَ آمَنَّا بِهِ كُلٌّ مِّنْ عِندِ رَبِّنَا وَمَا يَذَّكَّرُ إِلَّا أُولُو الْأَلْبَابِ. And those who are firmly grounded in knowledge, they say, we believe in them. So those who are firmly grounded in knowledge, they say, we believe in these verses, the clear and the unclear, because both verses are from Allah. And those who are firmly grounded in knowledge say, we believe in it. The whole of it, the clear and the unclear verses, are from our Lord. And none receive admonition except men of understanding. Now, did you know that a person who is a Shiite or a Qadiani, they take away the full stop from Allah? Because they say no one knows the meaning of these allegorical verses except Allah and those who are firmly grounded in knowledge. So our Shiite Imams, they know the meaning of all these allegorical verses. So if you should read a Shiite translation of the Quran and a Qadiani translation of the Quran, they take away the full stop from Allah. And they include their scholars to say, our scholars, they are so knowledgeable, they know the meaning of Alif Lam Mim. The Mu'tazilites, they claim that they are so knowledgeable, they can unravel the mystery behind Alif Lam Mim. So if you are so clever, you can tell the meaning of Alif Lam Mim, why there are 30 different opinions among the Mu'tazilites in regards to the meaning of Alif Lam Mim. If you read the Tafseer of the Mu'tazilites, there are 30 different opinions as to the meaning of Alif Lam Mim. Some say Alif means Allah, Lam means the angel Gabriel, and Mim means Muhammad. There's one Tafseer. Alif means the Stone Age, Lam means the Middle Age, and Mim means the Modern Age. That's another Tafseer. So you are guessing in regards to Alif Lam Mim. You are only guessing. You are guessing, and Allah Ta'ala said, قُلْ إِنَّمَا حَرَّمَ رَبِّي الْفَوَاحِشْ مَا ظَهَرَ مِنْهَا وَمَا بَطَنَ. Surah 7, verse 32. I'm sorry, Surah 7, verse 33. Surah 7, verse 33. قُلْ إِنَّمَا حَرَّمَ رَبِّي الْفَوَاحِشْ مَا ظَهَرَ مِنْهَا وَمَا بَطَنَ وَالْإِثْمُ وَالْبَغْيُ بِغَيْرِ الْحَقِّ وَإِن تُشْرِكُوا بِاللَّهِ مَا لَمْ يُنَزِّلْ بِهِ سُلْطَانًا وَأَن تَقُولُوا عَلَى اللَّهِ مَا لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. Say, O Muhammad, the things that my Lord has indeed forbidden are al-fawahish, the great evil, the sins, unlawful sexual intercourse, whether they were committed openly or secretly, sins of all kinds, unrighteousness, oppression, joining partners in worship with Allah, for which He has given you no authority, and speaking things about Allah with no knowledge. So you are guessing what is the meaning of Alif Lam Mim. So you end up as the man who speaks about Allah with no knowledge. And the Rasul said, Man qala fil Quran bi ra'yihi falyatabawa maq'adahu min an-nar. Anyone who speaks about the Quran with his own opinion, let him take his seat in hellfire. So when you claim that you know the meaning of Alif Lam Mim, you are speaking about Allah with no knowledge. Man qala fil Quran bi ra'yihi falyatabawa maq'adahu min an-nar. Anyone who explains the Quran with his own opinion, let him take his seat in hellfire. So we will stick to the tafsir of Ibn Kathir. Ibn Kathir did not explain Alif Lam Mim. Ibn Kathir said these letters are among the miracles of the Holy Quran, and no one except Allah knows the meaning of Alif Lam Mim. Now, my question to you is Surah Al-Ankabut. This Surah Al-Ankabut, which is translated as the spider, where was Ankabut revealed? Is it Mecca or Medina? Now, it is easy for you to answer this question. Surah Al-Ankabut was revealed in Mecca. How do you know? Because surahs that begin with Alif Lam Mim, Alif Lam Ra, surahs that begin with letters were revealed in Mecca. The exception to the rule is Surah Baqarah and Surah Al-Imran. Surah Baqarah is the exception to the rule. But if a surah begins with letters, that means it was revealed in holy Mecca. The exception to the rule is Surah Baqarah and Surah Al-Imran. Surah Baqarah begins with Alif Lam Mim, and Surah Al-Imran begins with Alif Lam Mim. But all the other surahs that begins with letters, they were revealed in Mecca. That's how you know if a surah was revealed in Mecca or Medina. That's one of the clues. And you need Ulum al-Quran to understand this. There's a subject called Ulum al-Quran, the science of the Quran. You need to study Ulum al-Quran in order to understand what I'm talking about. Maybe we can cover Ulum al-Quran in this room. And we need to cover, well, somebody has already covered Mustalah Hadith. We need to cover usul al-fiqh. But I discover when I go into these technical subjects, people fall asleep. People like to hear takfir. Why people like to hear takfir? People come to the room to hear takfir. You know why? Because Allah said, don't die unless you die as a Muslim. وَلَا تَمُوتُنَّ إِلَّا وَأَنْتُمْ مُسْلِمُونَ. Don't die unless you die as a Muslim. So nobody wants to die as a kafir. That's why people like to hear takfir. When I was in the UK, people used to flock the halqa just to come and hear takfir. In Whitechapel, Tower Hamlets. For 10 years I had a halqa there. People used to come to hear takfir. Why? Because nobody wants to die as a kafir. Because Allah said, وَلَا تَمُوتُنَّ إِلَّا وَأَنْتُمْ مُسْلِمُونَ. Don't die unless you die as a Muslim. Surah Al-Ankabut, the spider. The first ayah, Alif Lam Mim. The second ayah, أَحَسِبَ النَّاسِ أَن يُتْرَكُوا أَن يَقُولُوا آمَنَّا وَهُمْ لَا يُفْتَنُونَ. Do people entertain the idea that they'll be left alone saying, we believe without being tested? Is that what you think? Do you entertain the idea that you will be left alone claiming, I believe, I'm a believer, without being tested? وَلَقَدْ فَتَنَّ الَّذِينَ مِن قَبْلِهِمْ فَلَيَعْلَمَنَّ اللَّهَ الَّذِينَ صَدَقُوا وَلَيَعْلَمَنَّ الْكَاذِبِينَ. Indeed, we tested all those who came before you. And indeed, we tested those who were before you. And Allah will certainly make it known the truth of those who are true, and will certainly make it known the falsehood of those who are liars. Although Allah knows all that before putting them to the test. So if Allah knows who are sincere and who are liars, why did Allah give them the test? Allah gave them the test to expose them in the eyes of the believers. We will be tested in various ways. Do not entertain the idea that you'll be left alone without being tested. Allah did not tell you that life will be a bed of roses and life will be hunky-dory. Surah 90 verse 4. Have you heard of Surah 90, Surah Balad? Allah said, La uqsimu bihadha al-balad. I swear by this balad. The balad here is the city of Mecca. Allah swears by holy Mecca, the most sacred place on earth. وَأَنْتَ حِلٌّ بِهَذَا الْبَلَدِ. And it is halal for you, Muhammad, to punish your enemies when you conquer Mecca, the day of the conquest. That is the meaning of the ayah. وَأَنْتَ حِلٌّ بِهَذَا الْبَلَدِ. Hilun means halal. وَوَالِدٍ وَمَا وَلَدٍ. And Allah said, I swear by the walid, the father, and the walid, the son. لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي كَبَدٍ. Indeed, we created man to struggle, to toil. Allah said, what? I created man to struggle, to toil. So, Allah swears by holy Mecca, and then Allah said, what? Verily, we created man to struggle, to toil. So, life is not supposed to be a bed of roses. Now, Baqarah 155. وَنَنَبْلُوَنَّكُمْ بِشَيْءٍ مِنَ الْخَوْفِ وَالْجُوعِ. We shall test you with fear, with hunger, ju'. وَنَقْسٍ مِنَ الْأَمْوَالِ وَالْأَنفُسِ وَالثَّمَرَاتِ. And we will test you with the loss of livestock, property. Anfus, your loved ones. Some of your loved ones will die. Maybe they'll die in front of your very eyes in a car accident. وَالثَّمَرَاتِ and fruits. وَبَشِّرِ الصَّابِرِينَ. Give glad tidings to the believers. Okay, bring me Baqarah 156 to follow up. الَّذِينَ إِذَا أَصَابَتْهُمْ مُصِيبَةٌ. Those, whenever a musibah, a disaster, strike them, قالوا, they say, إِنَّا لِلَّهِ وَإِنَّا إِلَيْهِ رَاجِعُونَ. From Allah it came, and unto Allah it returned. Truly to Allah we belong, and truly to Him we shall return. So life will not be a bed of roses. Baqarah 155 is the evidence. Surah Balad, Surah 90 verse 4 is another evidence. And Surah 3, 140. Allah said, the sweetness of victory and the bitterness of defeat, we give it to men in turns. Surah 3, 140. Allah Ta'ala said, وَتِلْكَ الْأَيَّامِ نُدَاوِلُهَا بَيْنَ النَّاسِ. وَتِلْكَ الْأَيَّامِ نُدَاوِلُهَا بَيْنَ النَّاسِ. وَلِيَعْلَمَ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَيَتَّخِذَ مِنْكُمْ شُهَدَاءَ وَاللَّهُ لَا يُحِبُّ الظَّالِمِينَ. As for the sweetness of victory and the bitterness of defeat, we give it to men in turns. One day you win, the next day the kafir might win. Then Allah tells you why He gives you the sweetness of victory in turns. You won at Badr, the kuffar, they won at Uhud. We give you the sweetness of victory in turns and the bitterness of defeat, so that Allah may test those who believe, so that Allah will test you to see who are the sincere believers, and that He may make some of you become shuhada. So some of you, you need to become shuhada. You are so sinful. You smoke weed. Some of you drink alcohol. You cheat on your wives. You are so sinful. You need to die on the battlefield in order to stand the chance of entering into the paradise. And it is Allah who decides who will become a shaheed. Khalid ibn Walid fought every single battle after he took shahada, hoping to die a shaheed, but he died on his bed. So why Khalid ibn Walid? He fought every battle after taking shahada, hoping to die on the battlefield as a shaheed, but he died on his bed. The answer can be found in the Quran. Surah 3, 145. وَمَا كَانَ لِنَفْسٍ أَن تَمُوتَ إِلَّا بِإِذْنِ اللَّهِ كِتَابًا مُؤَجَّلًا. And no soul can die except by the permission of Allah, an appointed term. وَمَا كَانَ لِنَفْسٍ أَن تَمُوتَ إِلَّا بِإِذْنِ اللَّهِ كِتَابًا مُؤَجَّلًا. Surah 3, 145. And no soul can die unless it is by the permission of Allah. So even though Khalid ibn Walid fought every battle, and he was the only man in history who has never lost a battle, and he was hoping to die as a shaheed, he died on his bed. Only by the will of Allah that you can die. And as for the Shiites who say our Imams are so intelligent, they know when they are going to die, that's a big lie. The Shiites who said our Imams, they know when they are going to die, that's a big lie. And you're not allowed to take your deen from a Shiite. Imam Bukhari used to collect hadith from Khawarij, but not from Shiites. Why? Because Shiites lie, but the Khawarij didn't lie. The Khawarij will never lie. So Imam Bukhari used to collect hadith from Khawarij, because the Khawarij believe if you lie, you're a kafir. So they will never lie. But Imam Bukhari didn't collect hadith from Shiites. Why? Because their religion is based on lies. Their religion is a concoction of lies. They have a book called Al-Kafi. Al-Kafi is filled with lies. So Allah Ta'ala told you in the Quran that He's going to test you. Baqarah 214. Allah spoke about an incident in Baqarah 214. And the reason why I can use Quran to explain Quran is because the Quran resembles the Quran. The Quran doesn't checkmate the Quran resembles the Quran. So I can use Quran to explain Quran. Baqarah 214. أم حسبتم أن تدخلوا الجنة ولما يأتكم مثل الذين قبلكم مستهم البأساء والضراء. And do you think that you can enter paradise without being tested? Do you think you can enter paradise without being tested? Baqarah 214. أم حسبتم أن تدخلوا الجنة. Do you entertain that you can enter paradise without being tested? With a trial, with trials. As came to those who passed away before you, the previous generations who came before you. They were afflicted with severe poverty and ailments. and were so shaken that even the messenger and those who believe along with him said, Mata Nasrullah, when is the help of Allah coming? They scream out, when is the help of Allah coming? When will the help of Allah come? Yes, certainly the help of Allah is near. Ala inna Nasrullah qareeb. Ala inna Nasrullah qareeb. Verily the help of Allah is qareeb. The help of Allah is near. So this ayah, Baqarah 214, can't you see it is identical to Surah Al-Ankabut, verse 2? I can use Quran to explain Quran. You know why? Because the Quran is mutashabi. The Quran resembles the Quran. The Quran did not checkmate the Quran. The great scholar of Islam, Adwa al-Bayan, the great scholar of Islam, Allama Shinqaiti. Allama Shinqaiti wrote a book, he called his book Adwa al-Bayan. What did he do? He used Quran to explain Quran in the entire Tafseer. Adwa al-Bayan. Quran explain Quran. That's a very beautiful tafsir, Adwa al-Bayan, in which Quran was used to explain Quran. So Allah Ta'ala told you on many occasions that He shall test you. But while you are tested, always remember the ayah, فَإِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا إِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا. After hardship comes ease. Verily, after every hardship comes ease. Surah 94, verse 5 to 6. فَإِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا. Surah 94, verses 5 to 6. Verily, along with every hardship comes ease. After every hardship comes ease. إِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا. Verily, along with every hardship, there is one hardship and two reliefs. Now, why did Allah repeat Himself? فَإِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا إِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا. The tafsir is, when the scholars were asked why Allah repeated Himself, the tafsir is, after every one hardship comes two ease. That's the tafsir. After every one hardship comes two ease. And you are not allowed to despair. A Muslim is not allowed to despair. When you are being tested, let me bring you the hadith. The Prophet said, when Allah loves a servant, He tests the servant. And the more Allah loves him, the harder the test comes. And the people who are tested the most will be the prophets. And then the Salihun. Bring me the hadith, please. A hadith I memorized from the lips of my sheikhs. When Allah loves a servant, He tests the servant with a calamity, a catastrophe. The stronger your iman is, the more the test will come down upon you. And the people Allah tests the most will be the prophets, and then those who come after. And as reported that the Prophet said, a mighty reward is associated with a large affliction. Indeed, when Allah loves a people, He afflicts them in trial. Thus, He who is pleased for Him is His pleasure. And as for him who is angry, for him is displeasure. By Tirmidhi. Okay, bring me another hadith where the Prophet said, those who Allah tests the most will be the prophets, and then those who are closest to the prophets. Shukran for your hadith, but that's not the hadith I memorized from the lips of my sheikhs. The hadith says, when Allah loves a person, He tests the person. And the stronger your iman, the more the test will be heavy on your shoulders. And those who Allah tests the most will be the prophets. And then those who come after the prophets, the Salihun. That's the exact hadith from the sheikhs. Let me see if you find it. Mus'ab ibn Sa'ad reported on the authority of his father that he asked, O Messenger of Allah, which people will face trials most? He said, the prophets, then the likes, then the likes. A man is tried according to his religion. If he is firm on his religion, then the trial is severe. Okay, congratulations, you found the hadith I was searching for. This is the exact hadith I memorized from the sheikhs, not the previous one you brought. A man is tried according to his religion. If he is firm on his religion, then the trial is severe. And if he is soft in observing his religion, then he is tried according to his religion. So you are tried according to the level of your Iman. Then the trial does not remove from the slave till he walks over earth having no sin on him. Collected by At-Tirmidhi. Okay, shukran, that's the hadith I was searching for. So Allah Ta'ala told you that you shall be tested in life. And unfortunately, some people, they did not pass the test when they were tested. Because Allah Ta'ala said in Surah Fajr, فَأَمَّا الْإِنسَانُ إِذَا مَا ابْتَلَاهُ رَبُّهُ فَأَكْرَمَهُ وَنَعَّمَهُ فَيَقُولُ رَبِّي أَكْرَمَنِ وَأَمَّا إِذَا مَا ابْتَلَاهُ فَقَدَرَ عَلَيْهِ رِزْقَهُ فَيَقُولُ رَبِّي أَهَانَنِ. Surah Fajr, Surah 89, verses 15 to 16. Surah 89, verses 15 to 16. فأما الإنسان إذا ما ابتلاه ربه فأكرمه ونعمه فبي أكرمن وأما إذا ما ابتلاه فقدر عليه رزقه فيقول ربي أهانن. As for man, when his Lord tries him by giving him honor and bounties, then he says in exultation, my Lord has honored me. But when he tries him with straightening his means of life, he says, my Lord has humiliated me. My Lord has disgraced me. Ahana. So, some people, unfortunately, they can't cope with the trials of life. Why do you think people smoke marijuana? Why? Don't you know why people smoke weed? When you smoke weed, it makes you become happy. If you are two men worse, and when you smoke weed, it takes you in a world of fantasy. It takes you from the world of reality to a world of fantasy. The weed makes you happy. That's why if you sell weed, you're going to be rich, because people want weed. It makes you keep laughing and laughing and laughing non-stop. You can't stop laughing. That's what weed does to people. It makes you think that life is all about happiness. Two men were sitting down smoking weed, and they look at the Empire State Building. One of them said, what a tall building. What a wonderful building. If only I had money, I would have bought that building and rent it out as office places. The other man said to him, his friend said to him, who told you I'm selling that building? Who told you it's for sale? I'm not selling it. Because they were smoking weed, he thinks he owned the Empire State Building. He thought it was his. That's what weed does to people. He was being delusional. He was in a world of his own. He thought he was the owner of the Empire State Building. So he said to his friend, who told you I'm selling it? It's not for sale. I'm sorry. It's not for sale. I'm not selling it. The trials of life are difficult. People can't cope with the trials of life. People smoke weed to get over the trials of life. Because Allah told you in Surah 90 verse 4, لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي كَبَدٍ. Verily we created man in kabad, to struggle, to toil. Then Allah told you in Surah 22 verse 11. Surah 22 verse 11. To prove to you that some people can cope with the trials of life. Those with weak personalities. They can't cope with the trials of life. Surah 22 verse 11. Bring the ayah. وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَعْبُدُ اللَّهَ عَلَى حَرْفٍ فَإِنْ أَصَابَهُ خَيْرٌ اطْمَأَنَّ بِهِ وَإِنْ أَصَابَتْهُ فِتْنَةٌ انقلب على وجهه خسر الدنيا والآخرة ذلك هو الخسران المبين. And among mankind is he who worships Allah as if it was on the edge, in doubt. If good befalls him, he is contented, happy. But if a calamity befalls him, he turns back on his heels from the deen. He loses both this world and the hereafter. That is the evident loss, the clear loss. Allah tells you in Surah 22 verse 11 that some people can't cope with the trials of life. Some people commit suicide. Allah told you in Surah Al-Ankabut, أَحَسِبَ النَّاسَ أَن يُتْرَكُوا أَن يَقُولُوا آمَنَّا وَهُمْ لَا يُفْتَنُونَ. Do you entertain the idea that you will be left alone saying, I'm a believer, I believe, without being tested? أَحَسِبَ النَّاسَ. That's the second ayah. Allah is asking you a question in Surah Al-Ankabut. The scholar said this question is in the form of a rebuke. A question in the form of a rebuke. أَحَسِبَ النَّاسَ. Do men entertain the idea that they can be left alone claiming to be believers without being tested? I brought you Baqarah 214, in which even the prophets cry out, when is the help of Allah coming? Mata Nasrullah, Mata Nasrullah. When is Allah going to help us? Allah said, Allah inna Nasrullah qareeb. Verily, the help of Allah is near. Even prophets cry out with tears in their eyes, when is Allah going to help us? Some people can't cope with the trials of life. They smoke weed, they take crack cocaine, they take heroin. And when you take these drugs, it puts you in a world of fantasy. So if you are devastated because of a worldly calamity and you take drugs, you forget your calamity. But when the drugs come out of your system, you become sad again, so you need more drugs. So if you get hooked on drugs, you're going to lose your job, you're going to lose your family. You're going to lose your house. You're going to lose your car. You're going to sell everything for the drugs, because you have now become dependent on the drugs. So when the drugs wear out of your body, you suffer cold turkey. The people in America, they don't know what is cold turkey. That's British English. The Australians will know what is cold turkey, not the Americans or the Canadians. Cold turkey is when you suffer withdrawal syndrome. That's the technical word. The clinical word is withdrawal syndrome. The colloquial word, cold turkey. You feel needles sticking you in your body because you need the crack cocaine or the marijuana, the ganja, or the heroin. That's called cold turkey. Withdrawal syndrome. People depend upon drugs to take them through the difficulties of life. If you go to any country in the world, expect to find more mad men on the streets than mad women. I put that to you. If you go to any country in the world, expect to find more mad men walking along the streets than mad women. Do you know why? The answer is in the Quran again. Why will you find more mad men walking? Why? Not mad women, more mad men. The answer is in Surah 20, verse 117. فَقُلْنَا يَا آدَمْ إِنْ هَذَا عَدُوٌّ لَكَ وَلِزَوْجِكَ فَلَا يُخْرِجَنَّكُمَا مِنَ الْجَنَّةِ فَتَشْقَى. Surah 20, 117. We said, O Adam, verily this is an enemy to you. Iblis is an enemy to you. Not just you, you and your wife. So let him not get you both out of paradise so that you will suffer. Allah said, you, Adam, will suffer. Allah did not say, you, Eve, will suffer. Allah said, you, Adam, will suffer. Why Allah said to Adam, you will be the one to suffer if you listen to Iblis and get thrown out of heaven? The translator put paradise as a mistake. He should have put heaven. Adam was in heaven, not paradise. Nobody is allowed to enter paradise before Muhammad. The translator is not a scholar of Aqidah, so he doesn't know the difference between paradise and heaven. You need a scholar of Aqidah to make the difference. Why did Allah say to Adam, if you get flung from heaven, you will suffer? When you go on earth, you will suffer. Do you know why? Because the burden to provide food, clothing, and shelter, the burden to pay bills is on the shoulders of men, not women. A woman doesn't have to pay bills. According to Sharia law, the only thing compulsory on a woman is to have sex, nothing else. The Hanbalis go further. She can demand a housemaid to do the cooking and the washing and the cleaning. When I was studying in Saudi Arabia, I used to go to the houses of rich Saudis to spend 2-3 nights. Do you think their wives wash, cook, clean? Are you crazy? They have some of them have 2 housemaids looking after the household. 2 housemaids. They even have another maid who teach the kids with their homework. The only thing, according to Hanbali fiqh, the only thing compulsory on a woman is to have sex, nothing else. She doesn't have to lift a finger to wash, cook, and clean. That's Hanbali fiqh. All the rich Saudis that I used to stay with, their wives have sometimes 2 maids, 3 maids looking after the house for them. You expect a Saudi woman who's coming from a rich family to come to your house as a wife and she wash, cook, clean, who vacuum the house? She didn't do these things when she was in her house. So what makes you think she's going to get married to you and come to your house to hoover, to vacuum and to clean the house and to dust down the house? That's nothing. That's not the Saudi way of doing things. According to Hanbali fiqh, the only thing compulsory on a woman is to have sex, nothing else. The burden to provide food, clothing, and shelter is on the shoulders of men. That's why Allah said to Adam, if you listen to Iblis and get flung from heaven, you, Adam, will suffer, because the burden to provide food, clothing, and shelter will be on your shoulders. The shoulders of a man. Man, he pays the bills. When a woman helps you pay a bill or 2 bills, it's just because she wants to help you from the goodness of her heart. She doesn't have to help you pay any bill. Because Allah said in Surah Nisa verse 34, Al-Rijal Qawwamuna ala Nisa. Men are the maintainers and protectors of women. That's why she helps you pay a bill or you to pay a bill or 2. And when she helps you to pay a bill, it is written down as sadaqah. She gave you sadaqah, charity. She doesn't have to help you pay any bill. It's men who pay bills. Because Allah said, Ar-Rijal Qawwamuna ala Nisa. Men are the maintainers and protectors of women. Now, I've seen some men, they live off women like parasites. They call themselves house husbands. You go and work, I stay home and do the dishes. House husbands. You go and work, I stay home and do the dishes. And stay on internet all day and talk to friends. You go and work. I will be the house husband. Freeloaders. They have their wives looking after them. They are called freeloaders. Expect to find more madmen on the streets of any capital. Washington, D.C., Pretoria, South Africa, New Delhi, India, every capital. Expect to find more madmen on the streets because the burden to provide food, clothing, and shelter is on the shoulders of men, not on the shoulders of women. And because of that, Allah said to Adam, if you listen to Iblis and get flung from heaven, it is you, Adam, who shall suffer. Not Eve, you, Adam, will suffer. So Allah Ta'ala told you that you won't be left alone claiming to be a believer without being tested. And the Prophet said, the stronger your Iman, the more the test. And the people who will be tested the most will be the Prophets. أم حسب الذين يعملون السيئات أن يسبقونا ساء ما يحكمون. Or think those who do evil deeds that they can outstrip us. Ayah 4. The people who are evil doers, do you think you can outstrip us? Allah is asking a question. A question and a rebuke at the same time. Evil is that which they judge. Your judgment is warped. Your judgment is skewed. To think you can outstrip us. Outstrip us means to escape from us. You can't escape from us. There are many Muslims in the world today who rip off Muslims. Their mentality is, I don't give a damn about Judgment Day. I want the money now. I'm going to rip you off now. They seek to deceive Allah and those who believe, but they only deceive themselves and they realize it not. I met some Muslims, they are such con artists. Sometimes I wonder, do they believe in Judgment Day? People like Khalid Yassin. They are such experts in conning the Muslims. Sometimes I wonder, do they really believe in Judgment Day? Or are they just faking it? Because the way they rob and rip off Muslims, I wonder, do they really believe in Judgment Day? Because when they rip off the Muslims, they don't even make an effort to pay it back. Their attitude is, to hell with Judgment Day. I don't give a damn about Judgment Day. I want the money now. I'm going to con you now. These con artists are called the snakes. They are found in every race of people and in every country, in every culture. They are called the snakes. And you are not allowed to marry someone till you get a character reference. You are not allowed to set up business with someone until you get a character reference. It is haram to open a business with someone as your partner until you get a character reference, because your wealth is sacred. So you are doing evil in the world, Allah said, and you think you can outstrip us, you can escape us. Hal ataka hadith al-ghashiyah. Didn't the day of the ghashiyah come to you? Ghashiyah means the enveloping day. You can't outstrip us. Judgment Day is al-ghashiyah. It shall out the فَأَمَّا مَنْ ثَقَلَتْ مَوَازِينُهُ فَهُوَ فِي عِيشَةٍ رَاضِيَةٍ. Those whose good deeds are heavy, they will live a life of splendor, felicity. وَأَمَّا مَنْ خَفَّتْ مَوَازِينُهُ فَأُمُّهُ هَاوِيَةٌ. As for those whose good deeds are light, the fire will be his mother, hugging him and kissing him. The fire will be your mother. The fire will hug you and kiss you. The hellfire. Allah uses the word فَأُمُّهُ هَاوِيَةٌ. Therefore, you can't escape from us, you can't outstrip us. You go around oppressing people, and your attitude is to hell with Judgment Day, slandering people, accusing them of things they did not do, and your attitude is to hell with Judgment Day. Allah is hereby telling you in Surah Al-Ankabut, you can't outstrip us, you can't escape from us. You seek to deceive Allah and those who believe, but you only deceive yourself and you realize it not. يُخَادِعُونَ اللَّهَ وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَمَا يَخْدَعُونَ إِلَّا أَنفُسَهُمْ. You seek to deceive Allah and those who believe, but you only deceive, realize it not. Whoever hopes for the meeting with Allah, then Allah's term is surely coming. And He is the All-Hearer, the All-Knower. To hope to meet Allah, the meeting is surely coming. A Judgment Day, one of the names for Judgment Day is what? Al-Waqi'ah. إِذَا وَقَعَتِ الْوَاقِعَةِ. One of the names for Judgment Day is Al-Waqi'ah, the reality, the great inevitable event. It is also called Al-Haqqa. Al-Haqqa. Al-Haqqa, the reality, Al-Waqi'ah, the great inevitable event. And whosoever strives, he strives only for himself, his servants, the mankind, man and jinn, the alameen. If you strive in the path of Allah, what is strive in the path of Allah means? Ayah 6. Strive in the path of Allah means to do the fard to the best of your ability, and to stay away from the haram to the best of your ability. That is what striving means. Striving also means jihad fi sabilillah, because Allah used the word jihad here. What is striving? To do the fard, the compulsory, to the best of your ability, and to abstain from the haram to the best of your ability. Striving also means jihad fi sabilillah. If you strive, you only benefit yourself, you didn't benefit Allah, because Allah said what? لو أن أولكم وآخركم وإنسكم وجنكم قاموا على أتقى قلب رجل واحد منكم ما زال ذلك في ملك شيئا. O my servants, were the first of you and the last of you, the human of you and the jinn of you, should be as the most pious man from among you, that cannot increase my kingdom in anything. يا عبادي لو أن أولكم وآخركم وإنسكم وجنكم قاموا على أفجر قلب الرجل واحد منكم مَا نَقْصَ ذَلِكَ مِنْ مُلْكِ شَيْئًا. O my servants, we are the first of you and the last of you. The human of you and the jinn of you should be as wicked as the most wicked man from among you. That cannot decrease my kingdom in anything. إِنَّمَا هِيَ أَعْمَالُكُمْ أُحْصِيهَا لَكُمْ ثُمَّ أَوَفِّيكُمْ إِيَّاهَا. It's your deeds that I look at and I recompense you for it. فَمَنْ وَجَدَ خَيْرًا فَلْيَحْمَدِ اللَّهِ. Anybody who sees good on Judgment Day, let him say Alhamdulillah. وَمَنْ وَجَدَ غَيْرَ ذَلِكَ فَلَا يَلُومَنَّ. Who finds anything other than that, let him blame no one except himself. When you do good, you can't help Allah with your good. When you do evil, you can't hurt Allah with your evil. If you do good, it's for your own self. If you do evil, it's for your own self. And Allah told you in Surah 49, when you take Shahada, you the Kafir, when you take Shahada, don't tell yourself you are doing the Muslims a favor. Surah 49, verse 17. Yamunnun alayka an aslamu. Surah 49, verse 17. You the Kafir, when you take your Shahada, don't behave like you are doing the Muslims any favor. The favor, you did yourself a favor. Allah did you a favor by guiding you to Islam. They regard as a favor to you, O Muhammad, that they have embraced Islam. Subhanallah. Look at the ayah. Just look at the ayah. Listen to what Allah said. They regard as a favor to you, O Muhammad, that they have embraced Islam. Subhanallah. Say to them, count not your Islam as a favor to me. Nay, but Allah has conferred a favor upon you, that He, Allah, has gathered you to Islam, to the faith, if you indeed are truthful, by embracing, not embarrassing, embracing Islam. So Allah said, some Kafirs, they think they did you a favor when they embrace Islam. What a cheek. When I embraced Islam age 16 in Jamaica, I never think I did anybody a favor. What a cheek. The Quran is the greatest book of psychology and sociology and psychiatry. All the deviant mentalities are mentioned in there. All the warped mentalities are mentioned in the Quran. But our topic is not Islamic psychology, so we continue. All the warped mentalities were mentioned by Allah Ta'ala in the Quran to teach you how kuffar think. Those who believe in the oneness of Allah and the Messenger Muhammad and do not give up their faith because of the harm they receive from the polytheists and do righteous good deeds, surely we shall expiate from them their evil deeds and shall reward them according to the best of what they used to do. Ayah 7. When you embrace Islam, you're going to suffer sometimes. Don't consider the trial that you're going through at the hands of the kuffar as a punishment. Because sometimes you embrace Islam and you lose your job. And you say, oh my God, as soon as I embrace Islam, I lose my job. And you think it's a punishment. Do you know why the kuffar persecute you in Europe and America? Why they persecute you? Because they want you to apostate. The kuffar want you to say, look, since you embrace Islam, you suffer, so it's better for you to apostate. That's why they persecute you. There are many Christians and Jews and Sikhs and Hindus in the UK who would like to embrace Islam. But they hesitate. You know why? They said, I don't want to end up in Guantanamo Bay. I don't want to end up in Belmarsh like Barbara Ahmed, 10 years no charge. So when the kuffar persecute you, it's because they don't want others to embrace Islam. Allah is telling you in the Quran, when the kuffar persecute you for your deen, don't interpret that to mean that Allah is punishing you. When the Sahaba suffered 3 years of sanction and embargo in Mecca, we studied the seal nectar in this room in details. The Sahabas did not say, we are starving in the valleys of Mecca, this means Allah is punishing us. They didn't blame Allah. Some of you reverse when you take Shahada and you suffer, you blame Allah. You say, look, Allah is punishing me. That's not the right attitude to have in regards to. That's not the right attitude to have in regards to your faith, your deen. You embrace Islam and you suffer persecution. The Gora persecuted you. And because the Gora persecuted you, the Gora means the white kafir, because they're the ones who persecute Muslims the most. You leave Islam and said, look, Allah is punishing me because I embrace Islam. Some of you embrace Islam, you lose your family, you lose your wife. You embrace Islam, you lose your wife, you lose your job. You lose your mother, you lose your father. You lose your position in the firm as the general manager. You got demoted. You were supposed to be promoted, and as soon as you embrace Islam, you got demoted, the opposite of promoted. Allah said, when these things happen to you, don't blame Allah. Blame the kuffar. They are the ones who discriminated against you, not Allah. Don't think Allah is punishing you. Have that mentality. As I told you before, all the mentalities that are out there were mentioned by Allah in the Holy Quran. The Holy Quran is the greatest book of psychology and sociology and psychiatry. But you need the tafsir of the Quran to appreciate the Holy Quran. We shall expiate from them their evil deeds. When you take your shahada, what's going to happen to you? All the bad deeds you did before shahada is wiped out. I'm still on ayah 7, sorry. I'm still on ayah 7. We shall expiate from them their evil deeds. Surely we shall expiate from them their evil deeds, and shall reward them according to the best of that which they used to do. This ayah means when you take shahada, all your bad deeds are wiped out, and the good things you did when you were a Christian or a Jew, a Sikh, a Buddhist, a Hindu, Allah will reward you for all the good things you did when you were a kafir. That is the tafsir of the ayah. I repeat in case you didn't hear. When you embrace Islam as a kafir, all your bad deeds are wiped out. You are given a clean slate. And all the good things you did when you were a kafir, Allah shall reward you for all those good things you did when you were a kafir. That is the tafsir of the ayah. When you do a good deed, it's written down as 10 good deeds or 700 good deeds. And when you do a bad deed, it's written down as 1 bad deed. Why? Because Allah said, Inna rahmati taghlib gharabi, verily my mercy prevails over my wrath. So when you do a good deed is written down as 10 good deeds or 700 good deeds. But when you do a bad deed, it's written down as only 1 bad deed, because Allah said, verily my mercy prevails over my wrath. Inna rahmati taghlib gharabi. And we, ayah 8, and we have enjoined on man to be good and dutiful to his parents. But if they strive to make you join with me in worship anything as a partner of which you have no knowledge, then obey them not. To me is your return, and I shall tell you what you used to do. وَوَصَّيْنَا الْإِنسَانَ بِوَالِدَيْهِ حُسْنًا. So Allah said you should be good to your parents. Be kind and gentle to your parents. But if they should tell you to worship a false deity, to ascribe partners unto Allah, do not obey them in that regard. Now you come to the chapter Asbab al-Nuzul, causes of revelation. Why did Allah send this ayah down? Surah Al-Ankabut, verse 8. What is the story behind the ayah? Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas embraced Islam in Mecca. Like I told you, the surah was revealed in Mecca. So this story that I'm telling you about, it has to be in Mecca. It can't be in Medina, impossible, because the surah came down in Mecca. When Sa'd ibn Waqqas embraced Islam, His mother was a hardcore pagan, a staunch pagan. She said, I will never eat food until my son return to the idols. Lat, Uzza, Hubal, Manat. Give up Islam. I shall go on a hunger strike. Who said that? The mother of Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas. And people used to force feed her. That's how much of a staunch pagan she was. Deep into shirk. Swimming in shirk all the way up to her neck. Sa'd ibn Waqqas was affected by this scenario because he loved his mother. His mother went on a hunger strike and said, I'm going to die until he abandons Islam. He has to relinquish Islam and return to the idols of the Kaaba. Lat, Uzza, Hubal, Manat. Because of the hunger strike of Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas, Allah revealed Surah Al-Ankabut verse 8. وَوَصَّيْنَا الْإِنسَانِ بِوَالِدَيْهِ حُسْنًا. And we have enjoined on man to be good and dutiful to his parents, to be kind to his parents. But if they strive to make you join with me in worship, anything as a partner, of which you have no knowledge, then obey them not. To me is your return, and I shall inform you of what you used to do. This is the story behind the revelation of this ayah, Ankabut verse 8. So when his mother saw that he will not abandon Islam and worship idols, she broke her hunger strike and she started to eat food again. She abandoned the idea of going on a hunger strike because her son was resolute. And Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas was one of the 10 who were promised paradise. Al-Ashara al-Mubashirina bil-Jannah, the 10 who were promised paradise. Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas was one of the 10. Allah told us to be good to our parents. As I told you, I can use Quran to explain Quran. So which other ayah in the Quran resembles this ayah, in which Allah said, be good to your parents? Surah 17 verse 23, that is the other ayah. The beauty about the Quran is that the Quran resembles the Quran. Surah 17 verse 23 to 24. And your Lord has decreed that you worship none but Him. وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا إِيَّهُ. Your Lord has decreed you worship none but Him. And that you be dutiful to your parents. If one of them or both of them attain old age in your lifetime, say not to them, oof, a word of disrespect. Nor shout at them, but address them in terms of honor. And lower to them the wing of submission and humility through mercy. And say, my Lord, bestow on them your mercy, as they did bring me up when I was young. Kama Rabbayani Saghira. So this is the ayah that resembles Surah Al-Ankabut. This is the other ayah. So the Quran resembles the Quran. Surah 46 verse 15. Bring me Surah 46 verse 15. That's another ayah as well. Surah 46 verse 15. So Surah 17 verse 23 to 24 resembles Surah Al-Ankabut verse 8. The beauty about the Quran is that the Quran did not checkmate the Quran. The Quran resembles the Quran. And we have enjoined on man to be dutiful and kind to his parents. Yet I'm bringing you a third ayah. His mother bears him with hardship, and she brings him forth with hardship. The pregnancy was hard with hardship. And the bearing of him and the weaning of him in 30 months. 30 months of sucking. Till when he attains full strength and reaches 40 years, he says, my Lord, grant me the power and ability that I may be granted, that I may be grateful for your favor, which you have bestowed upon me and upon my parents, and that I may do righteousness, righteous good deeds, such as please you, and make my offspring good. Truly I have turned to you in repentance, and truly I am one of the Muslims submitting to your will. Surah Ahqaf, Surah 46, verse 15. And here again, another ayah telling you to be good to your parents. The beauty about the Quran is that the Quran resembles the Quran. The Quran did not checkmate the Quran. And because of that, Allah said, my book which I reveal is mutashabi, it resembles each other. The ayahs resemble each other. Ayah 9. And for those who believe in the oneness of Allah and the other articles of faith and do righteous good deeds, surely we shall make them enter into the entrance of the righteous. We shall make them enter into the paradise. Of mankind are some who say, we believe in Allah. But if they are made to suffer for the sake of Allah, they consider the trial of mankind as Allah's punishment. And if victory comes from your Lord, the hypocrites will say, verily we were with you, helping you. Is not Allah best aware of what is in the breast of the mankind, man and jinn? So Allah is hereby telling you that some people do not have the right attitude towards a calamity when it befalls them. If the kuffar should punish them for their Islam, they consider the punishment from the kuffar that Allah is the one punishing them. Allah is using the kuffar to punish them. This is the wrong mentality for you to have. The kuffar are punishing you, and you are thinking Allah is using the kuffar to punish you. This is a warped mentality, Allah is saying. Of mankind are some who say, we believe in Allah. But if they are made to suffer for the sake of Allah, they consider the trial of mankind as Allah's punishment. How can you think like that? So Babar Ahmed, who is in prison in the UK, no charge. Abu Qatada, no charge. Are they supposed to think Allah is using the white kuffar to punish them? Is that what you are thinking? And if victory comes from your Lord, the hypocrites will say, verily we were with you, helping you. Is not Allah best aware of what is in the breast of the Alameen, man and jinn? The hypocrites of Medina, when the Sahabas were marching to the battlefield, they hesitate to go. They refused to go to the battlefield. And when the Sahabas won the battle, they said, we were with you. We had your back. Morally, we gave you our moral support. We knew you were going to win the battle. So if you knew we were going to win the battle and you were with us morally, why didn't you come with us to the battlefield? Why did you stay back in Medina and find a million excuses not to come to the battlefield? You can't deceive Allah and those who believe. The believers are blessed firasa. Firasa means deep insight and foresight. Firasa means the ability to sniff a hypocrite a mile away. It's called intuition. Firasa. The ability to sniff a hypocrite a mile away. You can't deceive the believers. So whenever you suffer in life, do not blame Allah for your suffering. And the reason why the kuffar persecute you is because they want you to apostate. And they'll say to you, the reason why you're suffering is because you're a Muslim. Look at the Hindus and the Sikhs. They are not suffering. Only Muslims are suffering. Only Muslims are persecuted. In the UK, only Muslims are persecuted. The Hindus and the Sikhs, they are having a honeymoon in the UK. For them, the UK is paradise. The white man in the UK, he only picks on the Muslims, not Hindus and Sikhs. The Hindus and Sikhs, they go to the pub and drink with him. As far as he's concerned, they are in his pocket. Belmarsh is only packed with Muslims, not Hindus and Sikhs. Only Muslims. For crimes they didn't commit. So the reason why the kuffar persecute you is because they want you to apostate from your deen. That's the whole reason behind it. And Allah said, وَلَا يَزَالُونَ يُقَاتِلُونَكُمْ حَتَّى يَرُدُّوكُمْ عَنْ دِينِكُمْ إِنِ اسْتَطَاعُوا Baqarah 217. They will forever fight you until they make you apostate from your deen if they have the ability to do so. وَلَا يَزَالُونَ Baqarah 217. وَلَا يَزَالُونَ يُقَاتِلُونَكُمْ حَتَّى يَرُدُّوكُمْ عَنْ دِينِكُمْ إِنِ اسْتَطَاعُوا. And they'll forever fight you for the sake of your deen until they make you apostate from your deen if they have the ability to do so in istata'u. So when you live in Europe and America and you see the Gora, the white kafir, persecuting you, The reason why he persecutes you is because he wants you to apostate from your deen. How do we know that? Because Allah told you in Baqarah 217, they will fight you until they make you apostate from your deen if they have the ability to do so. And did you bring the ayah? Let me see what you have. And they will never cease fighting you until they turn you back from your religion if they can. And it's total. Yes. That's the reason why you are being persecuted at the moment in Europe and America. The white man wants you to die as a kafir and keep his company in the hellfire. He is a soul seeker. He is seeking soul for Iblis. He wants you to keep his company in the hellfire. That's why he persecutes you. There's no other reason behind it. But you are not allowed to despair. It is haram for you to despair in life. Don't forget Prophet Yaqub. Prophet Yaqub sent his sons. He said, go to Egypt and look for Yusuf and Binyamin and do not despair. Surah 12 verse 87. Surah 12 verse 87. O my sons, go you and inquire about Yusuf and his brother Binyamin. Go to Egypt and ask about Yusuf and his brother Binyamin. وَلَا تَيْأَسْ مِنْ رُوحِ اللَّهِ إِنَّهُ لَا يَيْأَسْ مِنْ رُوحِ اللَّهِ إِلَّا الْقَوْمُ الْكَافِرُونَ. And never give up hope of Allah's mercy. Certainly no one despairs of Allah's mercy except who? Al-Kafirun, the disbelievers. So as a believer, you are not allowed to despair. Prophet Yaqub said, no one despairs except Al-Kafirun. If you are living in Europe and America and you can't cope with the persecution that the white man is unleashing against you, because the white man is going to lose the war in Afghanistan, then he's going to take it out on the Muslims at home. You need to do hijrah. Migrate. Don't stay in his country and get frustrated and then bomb him like July 7. You keep bombing the white man, he's going to take revenge and kill you back. Don't stay in his country and bomb him. Just make hijrah, migrate. We want to live among black and white kuffar anyway. They are the armpit of humanity. These black and white kuffar that I live with in the UK for 15 years, they are low-life scums of the earth. They are the armpit of humanity. Make hijrah. Allah said in Surah Nisa 97, make hijrah. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ تَوَفَّهُمُ الْمَلَائِكَةُ ظَالِمِي أَنفُسِهِمْ. Those with the angels snatch their souls. The angels will say, why are you so pathetic? Your situation. They'll say, كُنَّا مُسْتَضْعَفِينَ فِي الْأَرْضِ. We were weak and oppressed in the land. We were mustad'afin. The angels will say, wasn't Allah's earth spacious enough for you to make hijrah, to migrate? For these men, their abode will be the hellfire. What an evil destination. They are going to lose the war in Afghanistan, and then they are going to pick on the Muslims when they became disgraced in Afghanistan. They are going to lose the war in all the countries. Didn't you see what happened in Yemen yesterday? Over 100 Kafirs were taken out with one suicide bomber. One suicide bomber took out 100 kuffar. They are going to lose the war in Yemen, they are going to lose the war in Afghanistan, they are going to lose the war in Kashmir, in Shishan, because they chose to invade a Muslim country when the Muslims have become radicalized. Had they invaded in the 1970s, maybe they would get away. But they invade Muslim countries when the entire Muslim world has become radicalized. Then they blame the sheikhs, said the sheikhs have radicalized the Muslims, and we can't defeat the Muslims because the sheikhs radicalize the Muslims. So we are going to use drones and take out the sheikhs, the way we take out Anwar Awlaki and his 16-year-old son. They use drones to take out Anwar Awlaki and kill his 16-year-old son with a drone as well, and put his age up to 21. What liars! These kuffar are low-life scums of the earth. He wasn't 21, he was 16. So why they are taking out the sheikhs one by one? Because they said the sheikhs are radicalizing the ummah. And because the Muslims have become radicalized, we can't defeat the Muslims. Therefore, we need to take out the sheikhs. That's what the kuffar say. Martyrdom operation, not suicide bombers. Martyrdom operation. Yes, so The kuffar, they are going to lose all these wars. They bite off more than they can chew. How can they fight the Muslims in Iraq, in Afghanistan, in Shishan, in Somalia, in Mali, and now things are kicking off in Nigeria as well? How can you, the kuffar, spread yourself so thin? Have you forgotten there are over 1 billion Muslims in the world? Things have kicked off in Yemen, Iraq, in Syria, in Afghanistan, now in Mali, then in Nigeria. Things are heating up in Nigeria, in Shishan, in Kashmir. How can you spread yourself so thin? Where will you get the troops from to spread yourself so thin? 1/4 of the world is Muslim. Even in Indonesia and the Philippines, things have kicked off. Jihad have kicked off in these countries. How can you spread yourself so thin? I know the Ethiopians, they love the US dollars. They are addicted to US dollars. They have been to Somalia, they got defeated. Now they're gone back there. You love US dollars so much, you the Ethiopians. You don't mind dying for the US dollar? A'udhu billah. I think I know why the kuffar, they think they can defeat Islam, because the majority of the Muslims are hypocrites and the hypocrites are helping them. That's why they have confidence. 90% of the Muslims have become hypocrites, only 10% is sincere. And the hypocrites are helping them. That's why they have the confidence to spread themselves thin. Because they are saying if we invade any Muslim country, we have hypocrites on the ground who will help us with the invasion. That's what they are calculating. We have hypocrites on the ground in every Muslim country who will help us with our invasion. That's how the kuffar are calculated. These hypocrites that the kuffar are talking about, when we invade, they will help us. Allah spoke about them in the Quran as well. Surah Anfal, verse 60. Anfal 60. وَعِدُوا لَهُمْ مَا اسْتَطَعْتُم مِّن قُوَّةٍ وَمِن رِبَاطِ الْخَيْلِ تُرْهِبُونَ بِهِ عَدُوَّ اللَّهِ وَعَدُوَّكُمْ. The hypocrites who help the kuffar when they invade a Muslim country, Allah spoke about them in Surah 8, verse 60, Anfal 60. And make ready against them all you can of power, including steeds of war, tanks, planes, missiles, artilleries, to strike terror in the hearts of Allah's enemy and your enemy. And then Allah said, and others beside whom you do not know, you may not know, but Allah knows them. Now, when Allah said, there are enemies that you have, you don't know them, but Allah knows them. You know who the enemies are? The hypocrites. That's what Allah is talking about. Allah said, there are other enemies that you have out there. You don't know them, but Allah knows them. وَآخَرِينَ مِن دُونِهِمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَهُمْ Allah يَعْلَمُهُمْ. Akhareen. Allah said there are akhareen, other people, other enemies out there that want to destroy the jihad effort. They spy against you. They translate for the kuffar. They know the language and they know the terrain. And when the kuffar, the crusaders invade, they take sides with them against you. They are not convinced about Islam. They think the Sharia is a load of rubbish. They want democracy. They don't want Sharia. Allah said, they are akhareen min dunihim. Others beside them, you don't know who they are. It is Allah who knows them. Who Allah is speaking about here in Surah Al-Ankabut. Not Surah Al-Ankabut, Surah Anfal, Surah 8, verse 60. The hypocrites. They are the ones Allah is talking about, the hypocrites. So Allah Ta'ala warns you about the hypocrites who take sides with the crusaders and the Zionists when they invade a Muslim country. And Allah said, they are the real enemies, so beware of them. Surah 63. These hypocrites who are spying for the kuffar, they know the terrain and they know the language. And they spy for US dollars and the pound sterling or euro. When they see money, they are not Muslims anymore. They apostate. They don't really have anything to apostate from because they were never Muslim to begin with. Allah said in Surah 63 verse 4, they are the real enemies, so beware of them. They are the enemies, so beware of them. Humul adu, fahdharhum, so beware of them. Inshallah ta'ala, I'll stop here for today. I'll continue the tafsir of Surah Al-Ankabut tomorrow, inshallah ta'ala. If Allah allows me to live until tomorrow. We stop at ayah 10. I'll take 5 questions in regards to the tafsir you've just heard. This is the first time I'm doing the tafsir of Surah Al-Ankabut. So don't expect to find it among my lectures. This is the very first time I'm doing this tafsir. Bismillah, do all divorces of iddah? When does divorce doesn't have iddah? He said we are divorced, no iddah, no obligation. In what case does divorce doesn't have iddah period? Is it right that I am not staying in our matrimonial home and no obligations for him? We covered divorce in details. Not every divorce has iddah. If you marry a woman and you did not go to bed with her, you did not consummate the marriage. Consummate means to have sex. You did not consummate the marriage. The reason why I'm so frank is because I met people who don't know the meaning of the word consummate. If you didn't consummate the marriage, there is no iddat for the woman. If you consummate the marriage, the iddat is 3 menstruation. If she reaches menopause, so she doesn't menstruate anymore, her iddat is 3 months. If you divorce a woman who is pregnant, it is halal to divorce a pregnant woman, by the way. It's halal to divorce a pregnant woman. If you divorce a pregnant woman, her iddat is until she delivers her burden. If a woman's husband should die, she is called a widow, and her iddat is 4 months and 10 days. And nobody is allowed to propose to a woman who is in her iddah. However, if a woman is a widow, you can drop a hint. It's called innuendo. You're allowed to propose with innuendo. Now, what's the meaning? No, iddah is not consummated. The word innuendo means to drop a hint. So, innuendos are allowed in Islam. You can use innuendo to drop a hint that you are interested. But a full-blown proposal is not allowed. Who you use an innuendo with? A widow. You use, if the widow is in her iddah, which is 4 months and 10 days, you can drop a hint you are interested, and this hint is called innuendo. If a woman is widowed, her iddah is 4 months and 10 days, okay, shukran. What if the woman is divorced with khula? And you're not allowed to propose to her? Yes, but you can drop an innuendo. Innuendo means to drop a hint. If the woman was divorced with khula, meaning she is the one divorcing her husband because there is no chemistry, her iddat is 1 menstruation, according to the Muwatta of Imam Malik. 1 menstruation. Okay, where are the other 4 questions? Admins, bring the link for divorce. We cover divorce in details. Okay, this link talks about divorce in details. If you want to know how to divorce, click on this, because we cover divorce in details in this room. Thabit ibn Qais sought separation from him, her husband. So the Prophet commanded her to observe iddat, waiting period, till she got her menstruation. Okay, can you find the hadith in the Muwatta that says she menstruated 1 menstruation, that the iddat for the woman who divorced with khula? This hadith is talking about khula. Thabit, the hadith of Thabit bin Qais is a hadith about khula. Assalamu alaikum. Does Shaikh Faisal or anyone else know, is Faiz Muhammad still making lectures, and where is he at the moment? Shaikh Faisal is in Australia and he runs a school, a Dawah center. If you want to know more about him, I can contact my link. If you want to listen to the lectures of Shaikh Faisal, go to his YouTube account and listen to his current lectures. He studied in Medina. I'm sure his Aqidah should be okay. Shaikh Faisal, I'm sure his Aqidah should be okay. I don't think he has dodgy Aqidah. I'm quite sure his Aqidah should be okay. Also, Imran Hussein, I'm sure the Aqidah of Imran Hussein should be okay as well. It's difficult for sheikhs to get away with dodgy Aqidah these days because the truth is out there. You have to adopt, or you die as a sheikh. Die, not physically die, spiritually die. It's difficult for sheikhs to survive with dodgy Aqidah because the truth is out there. You have to adapt to the Aqidah of Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah, or you're going to become extinct as a sheikh. Yeah, people are not jahil anymore. You can't be telling people democracy is Islamic. Unless you're a munafiq, then you listen to people like Tariq Ramadan. So it's difficult for a sheikh to survive with dodgy Aqidah these days because the truth is out there. Shaikh Faisal has the Aqidah of Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah. He refutes democracy and he refutes the Asha'ira. He refutes democracy and he refutes the Asha'ira. Those who say Allah is everywhere. The Asha'ira, they are in Australia where he lives. They call themselves Habashi. Those who believe Allah is everywhere, they are in Australia and they call themselves the Habashis. They believe a woman can wear a bikini on the beach as long as she wears a hijab. That's the latest fatwa they pass. A Muslim woman can wear a bikini on the beach in front of others as long as she wears a hijab. That's the latest fatwa from the Habashis of Australia. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك.